Joining me now, Fox News senior judicial analyst, Judge Andrew Napolitano. Welcome back, Judge.
What a crazy, crazy state of affairs.
It's a crazy story that keeps unfolding. What kind of a case does Roy Moore have if he sues the Washington Post?
Well, I think a frivolous one, because the standard for a person suing who is a public person, and clearly he is that the defamation, the allegation against him, was printed with knowledge of falsity by the publishers or with reckless disregard as to whether it was true or false. So if they have 4 women and they interrogate the women, they're each making similar complaints, and the complaints are rational and credible, they have the right to print this. And he cannot bring a successful case for defamation unless he can overcome what's called actual malice, that the New York Times printed what they knew was wrong or didn't care.
And they had that intent, and it seems like he would have to have evidence to prove that. So let's say
why should he sue? Well, he should sue for political reasons, because it puts the Washington Post back to the wall and lets him capture the momentum a little bit in this back and forth with the Washington Post. But ultimately, the lawsuit will be frivolous.
Then they've only got 4 weeks until the election, so we'll see what happens between now and then. Now, let's say Moore is elected to the Senate. There are people who are saying, great, we'll just kick him out of office as soon as he gets here.
Well,
can you do that?
The short answer is no. Can the Senate refuse to seat him? Answer no, because if they refuse to seat him because of these allegations about him, they're basically adding another requirement to being elected senator, that there be no credible allegations about you. The only 2 requirements are age 30, he's over 30, and a resident of the state that elects him. He's a resident of Alabama, so they must seat him. Can they expel him for something he did before he was in the Senate? Answer no. So if he wins, they are, to use the vernacular, stuck with him. Now, they can shun him and not give him political assignments. He may vote with them. When I say them, the Republican majority, he may vote against them, but there's nothing they can do if the people of Alabama send him there.
All right, so what about Luther Strange? Does he have any hope of becoming a write-in candidate and somehow snatching victory from Doug Jones, the Democrat?
The last time this happened was Alaska, which has a far smaller population than Alabama does. And you had an incumbent senator who had been elected before, Lisa Murkowski, who ran a write-in campaign, and she won. I would think it would be very difficult for Luther Strange to succeed. He might succeed in dividing the Republican vote and getting Doug Jones, who's not a bad guy for a Democrat, but nevertheless he might succeed in getting Doug Jones elected to the Senate. That's a nightmare for the Republicans. Then the breakdown is not 52 to 48, it's 51 to 49. Chuck Schumer's getting closer and closer to becoming the majority leader, which is their true nightmare. So
what do the Republicans do at this point? Because if Moore, let's say he's elected, let's say that Alabama's a forgiving place, and they feel that if this stuff happened, it happened a long time ago, and he has redeemed himself, and for whatever reason, he gets the majority of votes.
The Republicans are worried about their image with women, particularly married women.
I mean, don't you think Democrats would have a field day with the story of
Yes, they will. That is the reason, in my opinion, that Mitch McConnell and Republican leadership, now including the president, are saying you got to withdraw from the race. This is no longer Bannon versus McConnell or Bannon versus his former boss, the president. This is now Republicans worried about women leaving them in droves. Here's a statistic for you that Dana Perino just gave me. Donald Trump won 1% more Republican women than Hillary Clinton did. 1% in the 2016 election in Virginia. Ralph Northam won 12% more. Republicans cannot afford to abandon or to be perceived as abandoning this voting bloc.
And by the way, there are Republicans in Alabama who are coming to Moore's defense, I think, in the wrong way. I mean, it's not a rational and legalistic defense.
They're coming to Moore's defense saying, we like him. We don't care if this happened. Well, how can you not care if this happened? Here's my concern on the legal side. Is it his duty to disprove this, or is it the duty of the accusers to prove it? Well, in a court of law, obviously the accuser has to prove it. This is not the court of law. This is the court of public opinion. If the allegation is stated credibly, he and the Republicans who stick by him will suffer, whether he did this or not.
As the mother of 2 girls, if someone did that to my 14-year-old daughter, I would remove a lot more than his name from the ballot.
And if your daughter told you someone did this, whether she was telling you the truth or not, and you believed her, you'd be at the front lines fighting this.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens. If the Washington Post knew about this and they sat on it until this campaign and ignored this information when he was fighting Luther Strange, I think that is unethical.
Yes, it is. But I'm not so sure that the Washington Post is concerned about its own ethics.
Okay,
right? And in any kind of a war, for any kind of a battle, I want to be in the same trench hole as you.
Very good, Judge. We'll go there together. Thank you so much.
Got it.
Very good.